Hi, everyone. This is Andrea Adams-Miller. We're interviewing Ken Rochon today. I am the executive director of the Keep Smiling Movement, and I have the pleasure of interviewing Ken Rochon, who is the co-founder of the Keep Smiling Movement. It's a 501(c) nonprofit that has a mission to spread a dose of hope, a dose standing for dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins, which happen with your neurotransmitters when you smile. Let me tell you a little bit more about Ken so you know about him. He's a Renaissance man, a humanitarian, and an accomplished serial entrepreneur. He's also a social proof celebrity event photographer, international keynote speaker, and a published author of over 30 books. He's been honored as America's most influential business connector and entrepreneur of the year. Umbrella Syndicate.com, his marketing, promotion, and media company, perfectpublishing.com, his book publishing company, and absoluteentertainment.com, his DJ company, are a couple of his successful businesses. Ken's focus is supporting causes and nonprofits to amplify leaders who lead with their heart. And his radio show, Amplified, on Voice America Influencers channel, is a platform he uses to discuss building community, fatherhood, leadership, success principles, and values. Ken will talk more today about losing his mother to Alzheimer's and his desire to live a life of purpose where he leaves a legacy for his son to model. As I said, he's the co-founder of the nonprofit organization, the KeepSmilingMovement.com, where he has published over 114 books of leaders as a co-author and as an independent author. This movement shares these books with everyone needing that dose of hope. His love of the arts and sciences inspired him to travel to over 100 countries, and his favorite place to be is with his son, Kenny, K3, the light of his life. Please help me welcome Ken Rochon.
Well, thank you, Andrea.
Well, you're
I
welcome.
I already know that bio is too long. Yeah,
Well, you know what, though? The good thing about it being so long is it really gives us a opportunity to share the depth of who you are and the heart of who you are. And that's what we get to know right now is because when we're talking about the Keep Smiling movement, it's not about the movement today, but it's about how our entrepreneurs, leaders, and authors, coaches, consultants who are watching this, how they can 10x their business by attaching to a movement or creating their own movement, which of course the Keep Smiling movement has done. We're helping now, I think over 30 nonprofits with their advocacy and awareness. So tell us, how did this all come to be? What is the backstory behind the Keep Smiling movement?
well, I was at an organization and I saw all these amazing people that had beautiful smiles. They were influencers, speakers, and I was taking pictures of them. And lo and behold, a gentleman named Barry Shore was at this particular conference, and he handed me a card that I didn't even ask for. And I was like, "What is this?" And he said it was to raise awareness to people smiling and being grateful and thinking about how they bring joy to the world. And I said, okay, so tell me more. And long story short, he didn't really impress me that he had a movement or a marketing plan or a social proof or anything. He just had a beautiful, pure heart that needed to be shown to the world. So I adopted, and my main word, if I was to have one word, would be to amplify people's goodness. And so amplify is on my car. So I met Barry and just thought, this is such a beautiful man with such a beautiful mission. I think I'm going to devote my life. And I took a couple days to think about it, pray on it, and I wanted to actually amplify people smiling. And over a 5-year, probably 30 some thousand hours of studying this, I've realized there's a massive correlation between the amount of times you smile in a day and the amount of abundance you feel and the amount of enjoyment you're having in life.
Absolutely.
So, and by the way, this is not a faking, like just smile, even though the world's falling around you. It's that you're reframing how to approach it, how to attract good, how to attract opportunity, and how to actually be more powerful. And I think that last part is the part that people don't realize is when they're smiling, they're at their most powerful frequency. They're at the frequency of love. They're at the frequency of connection. They're at the frequency of acceptance. They're at the frequency of gratitude. So think about the power that that frequency is projecting and also, attracting. And
Oh, awesome.
Yeah,
I,
just
I was just thinking about how I've heard you talk about in the past about, like, the flow of abundance and money and love and happiness, and how when all those things are in cycle, that and continues to raise that flow and continues the flow at a higher speed when you are smiling. So it just excites me to hear that. And then recently you spoke at an energy science and technology conference and were presenting on this. What were some of the key highlights that you were sharing with people about that scientifically that supports what you're saying right now?
well, before I jump into science and the variables, the math, the tech, and even the TED Talk, I just want to, I guess, close the loop on my philosophy of life with
Sure.
regard to this. And so we have one life. Everyone knows we have one life. And when you lose it, you're gone. So why go
Mhm.
through life worrying? Why go through life not enjoying? Why not go through life doing what you love and being happy? And, I'm a human just like everyone else. I have my bad days. I'm far from perfect, but in having the Keep Smiling card in front of me or part of the movement or reminded to be held accountable for smiles, I think I get through my stuff quicker, and I think that I get through my stuff more powerfully. So, for instance, why would you want to take it out on a son or a family that you love if you're having a bad day? And if you think about the smiles, you're not only a role model, but you're coaching the people that you love how to actually enjoy their life too. There's a wonderful template that we have about worrying, and it's something that we can attach to this program. But if anyone looks at this template, it says, do you have a problem? And if you have a problem, which most people do, the next question is, can you do something about that problem? Can you solve that problem? And if the answer is yes, then why are you upset or why are you worrying? And if you can't solve it, then why are you upset and why are you worrying? And if you don't have a problem, obviously that's the easy one. Why are you worrying? I mean, there are people that have very little problems and they're not enjoying life. And when you're enjoying life, you're bringing value to yourself. Then you can bring value to others. So going to the question you asked about the science conference, I taught physics and chemistry on a fundamental level, just introduction to chemistry and physics. It was called physical science. And I did that for 4 years. And I loved it because it was teaching kids the value of science. It was teaching them the importance of every single thing in life has to do with matter and energy. So whenever anyone says it doesn't matter, I always correct them. I go, everything matters. Everything matters because if you make it matter, you care. And if you
Yeah.
care, you can do something about it. But if it doesn't matter, then you're getting into a role of apathy, which means it doesn't matter if you smile. It doesn't matter if you wake up. It doesn't matter if you make a call. It doesn't matter if you tell someone how important they are. It doesn't matter if you have gratitude. It doesn't matter if you eat well. So this matter and energy thing really captivated me. And it was using matter two ways, right?
Hmm.
So going to the science conference, I'm talking to people that have PhDs. They have patents under their astrophysicist, not necessarily the most social or social media friendly people. So I really had to have an intellectual conversation with them about a smile. And we have a book called The Science of Smiles. I think I have them back in the library there. But The Science of Smiles is obviously
I'll
a
look
book
and see
that
while if I can
we
find mine while you're sharing.
sure. And so The Science of Smiles actually takes a really deep look at what is actually happening when you smile, what chemicals are being given off, what is God's gift that you're getting for actually emitting smiles, giving smiles, practicing smiles. And we came up with this really cool formula, and it's why smile, and it's actually a formula: W period H period Y period equals, and then a happy face. And the technology or the variables actually really make sense if you break them down. So anybody that's living life is obviously investing time in the creation of who they are. And if you are playing at a big level, you are probably putting a lot more time and a lot more sacrifice into becoming a very powerful you, a very powerful leader, a powerful influencer. So the who variable, if you were to measure from 1 to 10, if you're putting in tons and tons of effort in making sure your who is powerful, integrity, results based, value driven, um, social proofed, et cetera, that everything that actually shows that you are bringing it when you wake up in the morning and people can rely on you, that would be a high quotient for that particular variable. And that's the you. So that's the why part, which is who you are. The next part is the why part, and that's how you actually determine your purpose. So if you do a purpose-driven life choice and you come up with a reason your life matters, you come up with a reason you do what you do to make the world better, to solve problems, to inspire hope, to create abundance with people you're working with, whether it's nonprofits or whatever makes you excited, then you are going to have a high variable rating there. So that would be two variables that are at a very high level. And then your how is the actual proof that when someone's doing business with you, whether they're doing it for free, trade, in kind, paying, that they experience high abundance, high satisfaction towards problems being solved, and of course, that they're inspired by how you work and what the results are, then that would be your third variable. And my hypothesis that we are doing with at least 100 leaders to have this TED Talk to be really a delivered, powerful result is that when those three variables combine together, probably have the highest SPH, which is the highest smiles per hour quotient, which is a new measure of humanity, and also not only a measure of humanity, but a measure of how you are actually showing up in the world in humanity, and how you are actually leaving legacy in humanity, how you are creating your own abundance in humanity. So the idea is, if you thought about how many smiles per hour you are emitting, attracting, creating, inspiring, receiving, our belief is the higher that SPH is, the higher your abundance factor is. And if you think about life from an accountant standpoint, you have two circles. You have an expense circle, and hopefully you have an income circle that's bigger than the expense circle. If it's less, that is chaos, and that is stress, and that is probably a lack of efficiency in your life. So the first order of business is to try and correct your income and expense circle by making sure you're either doing things that are cutting back on waste, and also doing whatever you can to increase your income. And if you can get your income circle to be outside of your expense circle, what we are saying is, with SPH, your income circle and your expense circle will have a larger gap. The expense circle will decrease and the income circle will increase. And the reason for that is, when you are smiling and you're emitting smiles per hour, you run into people that solve problems for you. So you find someone say, you're spending money on this. There's no reason you need to spend money on this. There's a cheaper solution. And those type of people are attracted to you because of the smiles you're emitting. So that's your expense circle going down. The income circle is, hey, you're such a positive person. You're such a pleasure to work with. I have some great people I'd like to introduce you to. And guess who they introduce you to? They introduce you to the best people in their network. Those are the people that are the highest abundance, the highest in action taking, the highest in integrity, etc. So your income circle increases. So that is the long answer to a question you asked some 5 minutes ago about how the Energy Science Technology Conference was benefited and a good fit for the Keep Smiling movement.
Absolutely. One of the things that's been really exciting about this entire movement is, so again, I just want to recap for everyone, is that when Ken was explaining the science behind the book, there's a part of that science that's incorporated into building the book that he talked about already, and that was the why, the who, how, and the you that equal the impact, which is the smiles per hour.
Wait.
So
The who is not with a you in it. So it'd be who you are, why you are, how you are. That's the template. But the way we explain in a formula is W period H period Y period, and the Y at the end is the you. Not to confuse people, but that's the who in the template.
yes.
Okay, so you wouldn't have those two variables in the same sentence.
Right. So by that, by him having that mathematical, the W times H times Y equals smiles, which are your smiles per hour, which is your impact on the world. And that's
And actually, Andrea, you brought up a great point. This is a fantastic point. Without it showing how the formula actually fits into numbers, we don't know what someone's life is like. So let's say someone gives up, okay, and they don't chase their dreams. They could be 10, 20, 30, 40. It doesn't actually matter what age. They just gave up, okay? So their Y probably is a 0 or a 1. So no matter what you multiply times a 0, 1, it's going to be a really low number. So let's take the person who says, I'm mad about life, okay? So they're not smiling that much, right? and their journey is possibly not as exciting because it has not been inspiring, because that's why they don't smile, right?
Right.
So their journey of who they are, which is technically the Y in the WHY, Y is you, is going to be a low number. So we start with Y because that's you. You have to start with the journey. You have to start with who you are. Who you are is the Y. So that might be, let's say, a 1 or a 2 or a 3. It's not going to be a big number, because this person's saying, I don't even want to go on stage. I don't want to tell anyone my life. It doesn't impress me. Why would it impress others? That's that person, right? Okay. Then you ask them, well, what is your purpose in life? What are you doing with your life that's making a difference in the world? And they say, nothing. I don't think so. Okay. So they're uncertain. So that again would be a very low number, a 1 or 2 or 3, right?
Right.
And then how they're administering their power of who they are, right, is how they're solving problems, how they're creating abundance. Well, if they're not creating abundance for themselves, it's very hard to argue to be creating for other people.
Right.
Or if they're not solving their own problems, it may be hard for them to solve other people's problems. And if they're not inspiring themselves, they're probably not inspiring others. So that again is a very low number, 1, 2, 3. So even if you give the highest number 3 on each one of them, 3 times 3 times 3 is a total score of 27. Got it?
Got it.
Okay. So now we have someone that's the complete opposite. They can be, again, any age, 10, 20, 30, 40. It does not matter. The age is not the issue. The issue is, are they chasing their dream in an unstoppable fashion? They're determined. They will not stop because they believe in themselves. And the more time they spend, the more they realize that that belief is actually a reality, because they cause that belief to be true, right?
Right.
So that would be a 9 or a 10 for the you. Okay. So my son, for instance, he's 7. He just did his first book. He did a joke book. It's Kenny's joke book. He is on Amazon, and he cares the fact that he is on Amazon already. So as a 7-year-old in his journey and what he wants to be, which is a coder, he feels like he is actually on his way. So if you were to ask him how he rates his journey, he might rate it very high. He may rate it an 8 or 9 or 10. If you look at someone who's maybe finally gotten an award for Life Achievement Award, okay, a Bob Proctor type, okay, he probably has a 10 for his journey. Okay, you got it?
Got it.
And because his journey is so defined in unstoppability for helping inspire others to lead and have a great life, his purpose is probably like he could nail it. He knows exactly why he gets up and what he does with his time and how to measure how his time is effective. So his why and his how are extremely exact. So he knows what his purpose is. So that's, let's say, a 10 again, because using a Bob Proctor, it's pretty easy, because he really does live as a role model that you can examine his life and see that he has figured this out.
Right.
And then his how he administers abundance, how he solves problems for others, and how he inspires hope, clear again. So if he got 10 straight across the board, 10 times 10 times 10 is 1,000. So look at the gap there, 27 for our person that doesn't want to smile, doesn't have purpose, and doesn't know how to actually solve their own problems, so they're not able to solve others. So really low score. And what's crazy about this is if you take the scoring across, so 10 times 10 times 10 is 1,000. That's a perfect score. I don't know if Bob Proctor is a perfect score. I would say he's a great example of someone that could be a perfect score.
Sure.
But what's crazy about this is if you look at perfection, then you look at exceptional, and then you look at great, and then you look at good, and you look at okay. That's kind of how the numbers of 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, right? So just take someone who's living an average life. They're owned by somebody. They work. They do their deal. They're reasonably happy. They're kind of living the American dream. They kind of have the car they want. They kind of have the vacation they want to take. They kind of have the weekend that they want to plan, etc. That might be a 7 across. Okay. So 7 for the who, 7 for the why, and 7 for the how. That is actually a really low number. It's 500. It's right around 500. So you're living half the life that you could be living. That gap is massive. And so the idea of this template and also this technology or this TED Talk is to remind people that if that gap is too big, they're actually cheating themselves of a life they love. They're cheating themselves of actually impacting the people they love. But most importantly, they're leaving life on the table, as it were. There's people that say you're leaving money on the table. You're leaving life on the table.
Absolutely.
And so you pass. And since we have seen and heard about people that are passing during this lovely COVID period, there's a real reflection on how precious life is, but there's also a reflection on how are we living our life. And I'm excited to say that your number of 114 is actually already low. It's out of date. We are around 120 right now. We have roughly about 40 that might be coming out in the next month or two, God willing. And this is people taking a whopping 2 or 4 hours out of their life, 2 to 4 hours out of their life, and writing this template up. And the most important part of the template for me, or the most important part about this book and project, is that it takes the abundance factor of how you sell, how you do business, how you communicate, to just the highest level, like a PhD level. So think about this. You have old school, know, like, and trust. Know, like, and trust. Now, I can't think of too many people that are on my Facebook connections that I don't know and I don't like and I don't trust. All of them I pretty much know, like, and trust. Because if I didn't, they wouldn't be my friends on Facebook. But am I buying from them? No. Know, like, and trust for LinkedIn. Almost everyone that I pick for my LinkedIn, whether I know them, like them, or trust them, even if I did, not buying from them. So why not? It's because the world is actually saturated right now with people that know how to behave, which is liking. They know that it's better to be trustworthy than not, and it's better to communicate and stay in connection, so to be known, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that is a foundation now. Before, back in the day, 80s, 90s, 70s, whatever decade you want to talk about, that meant a lot because we didn't have technology to expedite conversations, to expedite social proof, to expedite ratings.
Mm-hmm.
In this day and age, you can find out in a second whether you're spending $1,000 to $10,000 to $30 because you search something and you say, this is a safe bet. I'm going to let go of my wallet right now. I'm going to let go of my credit card. I'm going to let go of my PayPal. So this book offers a whole much larger, powerful platform of variables than the know, like, and trust. I will argue
Absolutely.
with anyone that know, like, and trust is the given. That is a given. If you don't have know, like, and trust, you shouldn't even be in business. Okay. But
So
if you
what I
want,
hear you
but if you
saying
want to
then is
stay in
the
business,
depth, the
yeah,
depth of the person now is revealed through the Keep Smiling books.
well, it's a tool, it's a vehicle, but whether you use the Keep Smiling book or not, these are the two variables. If you can find them somewhere else, use them there too. But you have to have these two variables. One is that you inspire people, and one is that you can prove through searches that the inspiration is the real deal. So if you're inspiring, let's say you're selling widgets and you're on a stage and you're bleeding in transparency and transformation and passion, and you are talking them up and they are so excited, they are screaming, they're so happy. Whatever that widget is selling at the highest rate, and price is not the issue, and what is being sold is not the issue. What is the anchor is that that person up front is trusted and they're blowing you away with their passion. So you're inspired to buy. So you don't even know if it's going to solve any problems in your life. Okay. And you don't even know if after you buy it, if anyone liked it, but you do know you're inspired. Okay. So the variable of inspiration is that is causing the wallet to be opened. So the people that actually know that money is valuable and know that it's kind of a good idea to Google something, when they Google it and they find it on Amazon or they find it on Facebook or they find it wherever, they find it in a rated system and they see a 4.5 or higher out of 5, probably in good shape to buy it. It's probably going to solve problems in your life. It's probably going to create abundance in your life. It's probably going to inspire you to be a better person. All
So
that's true.
let's then transition to show people the tool that you're talking about, because I know you have a lot of them to share.
Sure.
And for sake of time, I want people to be able to
That's a
absorb
good,
all of the
that's a good
information.
idea. So this is Chef Jerry Edwards. He has a company called Chef's Expressions. He does phenomenal work. And by the way, we customized his book so that you had food on one page and you had people on the other. So it was about 10 years of taking pictures of him. If
I
you have,
saw Ray Marvin Lewis in that one, the football
you better
player.
believe it. You better believe it. So here is a funny one. This is just Ken's. So connections happen. So this is a book of only
So
Ken's.
anybody who's got, oh, those are just Ken's, not even Kendra's. That's
Oh,
all just
no, Kendra's in there
Ken.
too.
Oh,
Then we
there's
got to give a shout out to our lovely lady, Barbara Palmer.
ah.
Barbara Palmer is one of our heroes, local heroes in Baltimore, and she,
So that's a Black Women of Influence book.
yep, and these are all dynamic women who have made big things happen in their lives and also for the community and the DMV and even nationally. So she is really someone I love because she took this book to a whole new level. she made sure it was really perfect for all the people that she enrolled into the
And she's
book.
really been utilizing the tool. So let me say something else about the book. So when people co-author the book with you, then, so what we're doing is we send them a template, and from the template, then they fill out
Chapter.
their template. The that you just explained, the W times H
The who,
times
yeah, who they
U.
are,
Yeah.
why they are, and how they are. Yes.
Yeah, and so that we can equal the impact of smiles per hour. So we get their story, and their story is a condensed story, like a TEDx story of like 3,500, 25 to 3,500 words, and that's the story that it's been interesting. Ken and I have been doing like a survey of people, and their own family members, their own friends, their peers don't know their backstory. It's kind of ironic that the people that we're supposed to like, know, and trust the
Hey,
most,
and
we
by the
don't know
way,
the reason.
yeah, but I don't even know my mom and dad's backstory. Like I know a little bit of it, but I don't know the real backstory. They've never written it. They've never shared it in this context.
Well,
Like,
and that's
who
one of
are
your
you? How did
whys.
you? Yeah, how
Share
did you
that,
become here?
Ken,
Yeah.
because that's your big why.
Well, let me go ahead. Yes, it is, and let me go ahead and give some kudos to some of the other people, and also show the variety of these books. I mean, there's 120 that actually are different. They're not just pasting.
Yeah,
So this is for veterans, and this is the amazing Jennifer
that's
Hammond.
Jennifer Hammond.
And she is right on the back cover, and she has an offer for 101 resources for veterans. We have Dr. Ivan Meisner. He is the founder of BNI, and
Business
BNI
Network
is yeah,
International.
and Givers Gain is their motto. And so it just actually talks about when you give to people that you gain, and smiles happen. Of course, is
Right.
I don't
So
know
the
if you.
books have two stories. They have the story of the Keep Smiling movement and the story of the co-author. And then there are 99 other pictures besides the author.
50 to 100, because someone can
50
do.
to 100, because
Yeah, because
sometimes.
yeah, sometimes the book is being built still, and we still print it. So this one actually does not have 100 yet. We're still, because of COVID, we actually did not finish. We're at 76 right now.
Yeah.
So
And sometimes people choose less because they want to customize something different for
mhm.
it. And
Yeah,
under each
like
of
the
the
food one.
pictures, it describes who the person is. And then we have a quote. Sometimes it's quotes that those people have shared with us that they made up as original or picked out their favorite quote, or they're quotes that Ken and I have comprised, written, or pulled from somewhere that, so it's moved to inspire you, to motivate you, and to move you into action to do something positive in your life and to amplify goodness.
Yeah, and by the way, if you looked at any of these books, whether it's BNI or the veterans, every single person there is carefully picked on two different levels. The author picked them because they are inspired by the person. In other words, they look up to them, or they want to thank the person for always supporting and pushing them up. And in some cases, the author says, hey, I don't know 100 people. Supply people I would like to know. So you're actually putting maybe 50 people or so in a book that the author is getting the good fortune of having a filter. I mean, can you imagine LinkedIn or Facebook saying, listen, based on who you've attracted, I just want to give you double, double the amount of people you've attracted, because we can now figure out who's a great match for you.
Yeah, these are the people you need to know
You,
and
yeah, you'd want
collaborate
to know.
with.
And
Yeah,
speaking of person you want to know, Ron Monk, what an amazing gem.
Captain
He is
Charm.
Captain Charming. Here he is back here. And Captain Charm is taking on really the most dangerous city in the United States, Baltimore, and he is bringing charm. He's bringing positivity. He's bringing support to nonprofits, and he's making events happen to bring thought leaders together. And he's taking the money and the ideas and applying it to a real problem in Baltimore, which is kids not having mentorship, kids not having hope, kids not having direction, and really helping them find that. So that's pretty amazing. Um,
Absolutely.
we have World Smile Week coming up in October. This is going to be one of the books. We hope to have a lot more books about
So
language,
that's
but
the World
yeah.
Multilingual.
Oh, and I hope and
So
open up
here's
the
some of the
Keep Smiling.
cards.
Yeah, well, here's a couple of cards too. And there's Barry. There's Barry Shore.
So he was the originator of the original
Look who that
Keep
is.
Smiling card. Ah, Jay Shetty.
Yep. I mean, there's some pretty cool people in here, I got to say.
By the way,
Look at who that is.
oh, look at her, Shirley
Yeah.
Wynn Chow. She's
Yeah.
adorable.
And
Hmm.
she's done one of the Keep Smiling books.
She has.
And this is,
Oh, from Star Trek.
yep. And his
George
language,
Chow. I forget his last
George
name.
Takei. George Takei.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And I'll just finish. Oh, there's our favorite right here. Here's one of our favorites.
Brigitte Hofferle.
You know, and Brigitte has helped the Keep Smiling movement because she's helped us figure out for nonprofits how to actually introduce a platform, which we can certainly do at another time, but introduce a platform that can help fund a nonprofit just by who you know that likes to donate to you. So I wanted to share a couple more. This is Michael Tabrizi, and he shared his beautiful story of how he wanted to feed the homeless and how he started. Let's see here. I'll share it right now real quick. How he started the Chef's Table Foundation for chefs to teach homeless how to cook, so the homeless now know how to cook for the homeless. Beautiful, right? And then how about this one? Good old John Tay Hall.
Oh,
And
Jonte, he played for the Harlem Globetrotters.
he really
He
did.
was only 5'2", and yet he did amazing at basketball and overcame the challenges. People said, "You're too short. You'll never be able to play. Never will happen." And he proved it. Gayla Bynum,
Bynum
she
with We Will
has.
Survive Cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And she is raising money by selling these books and thanking people. When people make donations of $100, she sends a collector's edition out to them. This one I probably should have started with. This is such a great picture of,
Brian. Yes,
yeah, the
definitely.
Bacon Man, the Bacon Man, the Bacon Edition. Look, sizzle happens.
Yes. So while Ken is sharing these, what we want you to see for yourself is that, oh, well, look at her,
I
Andrea Adams Miller,
I was
the
going to
red
ask if you
carpet
knew this one.
connection.
Heck, we even give a shout out to photographers. These are
Hey,
all
William Burdine.
photographers. These are all lovely photographers that are capturing smiles, that are friends of ours that we love. And if anyone,
I have Lauren Michael Harris, who helps with orphans.
I've heard about that. And then
He's
this
done
one,
some amazing
this is
things.
the ultimate book. If you guys want to know about who's in the books and what books they wrote, look at this. This is, oh, do you see Annie Evans?
Yes, I
Megan
did.
Fenyo? These are
Yeah.
all people that have written Keep Smiling books.
Anil Gupta.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And Brigida
Brigida
again.
again.
Yep. Look at that.
Oh, Tamara Hunter.
Uh-huh.
She's
Yep.
doing. She's got her book, and
Yeah.
Greg Jacobson,
Of course. And look at
Richard
that.
Kay,
Yeah.
Alicia Corey. Isn't that who that was? Yeah.
That was not. That was
Oh,
Karma. Alicia Curry is actually up front, but that was, there's good old Charming. And look at that, Dr. Ivan.
Dr. Ivan Meiser.
So we won't show the whole book. And then this is a really exciting book right here. This one I'm really excited about. So if you're a
The
podcaster,
podcasters.
if you're a podcaster and you don't, you belong in this book, please let us know. We are still looking for roughly, I think, 30 or 40. We're at 57. So we need another 43. I mean, if you do the math, my son would be really quick with that one.
So I'm going to show two other ones that we have here. These are two of the, Dr. Emily Letran. She was the first person to believe in Ken's idea and to invest in doing a book with us, and then to utilize the book to further her connections and her business and so forth. And the second person is Dr. Karen Perkins, who we just honored Ken on her radio show, Your Destiny, Living First Class, just a couple weeks ago. So Dr. Karen Perkins did that as well, and she did the speaker's edition. Now, what she's been doing with this book is then, so here's a picture.
That's her right there. That's her right there. That's her. Yeah.
And what she's doing then is we're posting, we have a whole curriculum that shows you how to use this tool to really benefit yourself. It gives you, if you follow the plan the way we have, there's a whole marketing and publicity plan to how this book really maximizes you in your life for social media platforms, for your articles, and for your connections.
Important point to add to that. So many people do a book, and they do a book like a bucket list, and they produce a book, and when they produce the book, they're waiting for the book to change their life. Not going to happen. So it changed your life as much as it can change your life by being printed. That's it. So I want to actually acknowledge you and applaud you for what you've done for our authors. All the authors that are Keep Smiling authors have gotten thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars of free publicity by being put on radio shows, being able to tell their story. And going back to our books, these Keep Smiling books, if you just tell the people that you picked that are in the book to just post it, you're looking on a low side, 10,000 downloads for your book, on a low side. People may not be aware of this, but when you do a book normally and you do a book and print it, you experience a whopping 30 sales, 40 sales, 50 sales, maybe 100, maybe 100, maybe 100. And sure, your mom and your brother, they sure like reading stuff that They
Actually,
didn't want to
studies
read.
show that your family doesn't even read it. They
I
just buy
know.
it.
Yeah, they buy it. Well, because, when you're putting $10,000 out for a book and you can get $60 back from your family, I mean, you can do the
Right.
math. 10,000 minus 60, that's definitely less than 10,000 now that you.
So let's go back to that impact. So you, as an author, have this impact because you're able to use the stories and the information for social media platforms and so forth. So you either have 52 weeks of having 2 articles, 2 posts that you can post a week because your book comes in an ebook form as well. Or if you spread it out and only do 1 a week, that you've got 2 years covered for content already for you talking about and
Well,
sharing about the people that are in your book. And that's only one of the methods that we
it
share
is
with you on
only
how to
one.
utilize your book. And then,
I'm jumping in.
oh,
So
go ahead.
when people, if you use your book the right way, find out when their birthday is and actually send them a copy of the book, or post the picture of them and say, happy birthday. They were one of the people I chose because they create smiles or they inspire hope in the world. So that's one. And then I'll tell you, if you show the book to people, I give my book out to thousands and thousands of people a year, and they will look at the book and say, oh, I know that person. And I'll say, well, go ahead and take a picture and let them know that you just saw them. So they take a picture. It reconnects, reignites a conversation and a relationship. And who knows all the ripple effects that happen when you are reminded. For instance, on this new platform, Be Connected, is something Brigitte shared with us. I have been so excited because I'm sharing with the network. And I'm like, oh, I haven't talked to them in a while. And so it's reestablishing. Just like COVID, when you can't go to events, what do you do with your time? Do you say, I give up, I quit? No, hit your Rolodex, hit all the people on your phone that you haven't talked to in a while, and reestablish the relationship. Reestablish the relationship. And that's what this book
Absolutely.
does.
It really redefines how you show up in the world, and it really amplifies smiles. And all right, so we've talked about, like the business opportunities for this, how it really helps you connect with other people, especially when you're putting it at the bottom of your on your website for free. If you put it at the bottom, it doesn't have to be for free. You can charge as well. You can also put it at the bottom of your email. Ken and I do that, so then people can look at your book when you're reaching out to them. You can also send them an ebook copy of it. There's so many different ways. And then there's the heart of the Keep Smiling movement. So we're a dental and mental health nonprofit, as I mentioned at the beginning, and we have saved lives with these books. Now, it's not us saving lives, it's all of you being a part of this that's saving lives. I mean, literally, we have given cards to people that have said to me personally, so these are my personal stories, where they said, I was going to kill myself tonight, but because you gave me this card and gave me a reason to smile, I have I can reevaluate that I have something to live for, that I
Move the
matter.
card over because you have keep smiling.
Oh, I do.
Yeah. Yeah. Because when you hold it over this way, it's too
Yes.
much. Yeah. And very important. I mean, you hear stories about people that did unfortunately take their life. And the note they leave behind is typically they didn't know anyone cared. And there are other people that say just what Andrea said, is someone said they care. And, if you care about a kid who has no direction in life, they don't want to let you down, and they'll have a 96% chance of graduating. They'll have a 96% chance of doing great things in their life because they know someone cares. Not even a qualified mentor or coach, just someone that is a human that takes a stand and cares about them doing well. I wanted to just share one thing before it's lost.
Sure.
The books can even raise money for the author because you can have ads in the back. There's 4 coveted ads, and as those ads are purchased, your book actually becomes funded. But more importantly, you can have ads in there that are JV. They have a code. So anyone buying what is actually the solution to whatever you're looking for, you are actually making residual money. And that's a pretty cool extra facet to these books.
So, Ken, let's share with people what the investment is to do this, how they can change lives, how they can inspire others, and how they can leave a legacy of their story that really impacts the world. And let's go over again the benefits that they get for that investment and how it works for them in the world.
Well, why don't we go over that? So I'm probably going to turn it over to you because you have been
All
doing
right.
the most work on the website. But I do want to say that we have 3 levels. One level is being built. It's on the website. It's going to be very template, very systemized driven, and you're going to be able basically fill out the template online, pick the photos you want, and hit submit. And that is not in place yet. So do not go to thekeepsmilingmovement.com and expect that. But you can get free books. You can get the template downloaded. You can get a lot of things from the site. But level two is that you find a book that you like, you find a person that you know, and you say, you know what, my template and my design, I'm sorry, my theme is very identical. Like for instance, Karen Perkins. Dr. Perkins has inspired, I believe, 5 other speakers to do speaker. Noah St. John,
Yes.
yeah, and I don't have the list handy, but we have 6 speaker, and they modify by putting this. They take maybe out of Karen's. They may say these 50 speakers that Karen picked. I love them. I know them. They're in my book, but I want to add these other 50. So that's called a modified template, and
Hmm.
it's reasonably doable. And you can go the price for that. And then the other one is a customized one. A customized, we may not have the theme done before. It may be a new city. It may be a new complete overhaul of something we've already done, and we have to fly out or we have to hire people to get all the shots. And by the way, in COVID times, we've learned to be very creative. All you need is a professional photographer and or a professional camera set in RAW. You take the picture of someone holding either a Keep Smiling card or a blank card, so you can just pretend like this is blank, and we will actually put in there the Keep Smiling card, which will look like this afterwards. And you get that picture, you send it to us in RAW, and we make it look in this beautiful magazine printable piece. And then the last thing is you need to remember what you love about life, what you're grateful for life, because if you hold the card, that will not be a smile shot we'll use. We want people to actually think about the love they bring to the world, and so get in that context and that mode of gratification, and think about inspiration and how you're actually going to be received. When you do this shot right, it's one shot with a photographer. When you do the shot right, it wakes people up at how beautiful you are and that they want to know who you are, et cetera. So the smile really is the best makeup you could do for your face.
Now we want to remind you too that with your investment, so the books for you to participate with us, it's $5,000. So $5,000, you're getting this book there. That's for the customized book where everything's done. You hand select everything. You get a customized cover, and you get all of that for you. And you get I forget how many books is it, Ken? Just off the top of my head went away. Ken will figure that out for
Well,
me.
it depends whether they choose black and white or
Oh,
color.
that's right,
And,
because
and it also depends on how many pages they end up with. So it's actually, it does skew, but,
yeah, that's correct.
but
Because if you want more books, it's actually cheaper to get more. So we pass that savings on to you. But the
mhm.
initial investment is 5,000. But
Yeah. And
we
it's
want
not,
to make sure.
by the way, it's not a large amount of books because we're creating something that's going to actually bring more dollars than books would ever bring. Secondly, if you can imagine, you select 100 people in your book, and let's say even half of them buy them for $100 each, you got your money back. That's $5,000 that you're getting back in sales. Not to mention
True.
they're showing the book off to everybody. So there's a lot of
Well,
ways to
and
actually make this
there's
work.
a certain point about this too. Is these books aren't about making money per se. It's about selling who you are, your dreams, and your legacy so that
Hmm.
people want to work with you. And it takes them deeper than that like, know, and trust, because now you have deeper social proof, and now they get your heart. They hear your why. They want to know why and who you are. And we'll end with that today, Ken. But I want to make over that again. So the price points are between 2,500 and 5,000, and that's whether you're doing the book that's already templated, where you're just flipping out a couple pictures, or we're customizing the book for you at 5,000. And the point of this is that we're a nonprofit. So the nonprofit, what we're creating is we're creating more books for some nonprofits where we're giving to them. So we're doing the books for them as a scholarship and doing the books with them. And then we're also building out a curriculum right now and partnering with other nonprofits to make sure that we have things in place for people to overcome anxiety, fear, depression, whatever else is holding them back, overcoming those limiting beliefs. So we have people in place to do these things. We have curriculum being built. And in order to be able to fulfill this obligation where we're having, I'm on a regular basis, I'm having people text me and call me and saying, I need help. I need support. We do have an online support group as well, which is full of positivity, the Keep Smiling Ambassadors page. And we have the Keep Smiling Authors page. And when those are utilized correctly, those help really increase your ability to have a further outreach. So again, this is a marketing and publicity tool that inspires others, that helps you with joint ventures, that helps you with connection, helps tell your why, your deep story, and helps save the mental and dental facilities, faculties of people all over the world who need these things. And Ken and I are going into different countries, working with different nonprofits in order to amplify that goodness in the world. And every time we're on radio and so forth, we're sharing your love by saying who's authored these books. And then, yes, as an international publicist, I also, when I need spots filled for the different radio shows that I help produce and so forth, we make sure that our authors are given love. And we also have different workshops and programs and events, both virtual and in live, that are in the works to be able to showcase you. And that's what it's about, is really creating a large blanket, a wide net of love and legacy for who you are.
And I want to talk about that investment, because the investment by itself is just a number that's an expense, a cost. But the value that we are probably bringing on those two levels is, on the 2,500, is probably around a $10,000 value. If you look at, they're getting a book, they're getting an asset, it's going to be used to help market them, get them on stages, make sales, create new relationships within the book. That's at least a 10,000. And the $5,000 one is honestly probably closer to 30,000. And the reason for that is the amount of hours we have to put in is coaching time. We spend a lot more time since you made a bigger investment to give you way more value. So you get a plan, a marketing plan that we actually spend about a year with you, making that book work for you. So I can't think of anyone that has come back and said they didn't get their money's worth or the value wasn't exceeding what we did for them. It's
well,
insane.
if you think about these two, two did this 5 years ago, and look who gets loved on the most.
Yeah.
I mean, so it doesn't mean we're going to love on you less. It means that we have every reason to love on you even more. And as you partner with us, and as you come up with what your products and services are, what we can share of what you have as a joint venture to help the Keep Smiling movement, if we can help you partner with other authors to help amplify more goodness, that's what Ken and I are doing for the movement, so that everyone can keep smiling.
Well, I know that some people, we're going to be probably bring it to a close soon. So I do want to say there's probably a lot of beautifully haircut people, and we have the bald, beautiful, and bold edition. So if you shave your head and you want to get a picture into us that shows your nice bald head, you even get props for having a bald head. I mean, that's pretty cool. And then, in case you're not aware of some of the amazing people that we photographed, I mean, here's a picture of
Damon Johns, Quincy Jones.
And this book in particular is called the
Brian
Influencer Edition.
Tracy.
Yeah, look
Les
at this.
Brown.
Yep.
Oh, John Travolta. And the gentleman beside you there, he's like the #1 wedding planner in the world. I forget his name.
Yes, he is. Well, I can tell you his name. It's actually David Tudora, I believe it is pronounced that way. But each one tells what they're doing. Google actually says what they've done in the world that caused them to be an influencer or caused them to be considered an influencer.
Yeah.
So these are some pretty impressive people in here. I mean,
Neil Patel, by the way, that picture was taken in Thailand. I took that picture. So I was at the Affiliate World Asia, and then, Elle McPherson, and that's Ty, isn't it?
Yep.
Ty Lopez.
It is. Ty
and
Lopez.
Then, so we do need to wrap this up, Ken.
Well,
so
we do. I just want to say that this, you can wrap it up while I just show a couple pictures.
Well,
if that's okay.
The next thing I want them to hear is we left an open loop. I want to hear your big why. People, and not just me, the world wants to know. I mean, yes, Kenny K3, the light of your life. He's an absolutely adorable 7-year-old, but there was a real, a reason before Kenny that all of this happened, a reason that Kenny happened. And that's someone special in your life.
Yeah. So it's twofold. So one is, if you had a parent or someone that believed in you and they said you can do anything, that's obviously a raving fan. So my mom was that raving fan, and she passed of Alzheimer's. I was fortunate enough to be a caregiver during a 3-year period, re-examined my life, and decided that I wanted to do something as a tribute to her life. So that's part of my why. The other part of my why is I lost my mom, not just at an early age of 65, but I never got her story. I never got who she was in the world and what she went through to be the mom and the leader. She was a master's in education, in reading, in history, and something else. But the bottom line is she was really well educated, and I never got to have her download all that wisdom that she had. And so I'm a stand for leaders creating legacy while they're alive, but leaving a legacy after they are not with us anymore. Something that their loved ones can read and say, you know what, this is the biggest gift I ever received in my life, is that I have her story or his story. So that is my why. And for my son, I don't know what day I'm leaving this planet, and hopefully it's a long time from now, but I want him to know every single day he is without me that I loved him, and I wanted him to know what I was inspired to do in my life to show him anything's possible.
And that's what we are offering for you, is that opportunity to leave a legacy, because there are people who love you, and we want you to be remembered, and long after you're here, because we have that opportunity now. We have that world where we can show that how you have amplified goodness in the world and helped make a difference. You can reach out to us at www.thekeepsmilingmovement.com, www.thekeepsmilingmovement.com. And you can also reach out to Ken directly, 202 701 0911. That's his cell phone number. Again, that's 202 701 0911. And I can give you my information too, but let's focus on Ken right now. And then, so the KeepSmilingMovement.com, all of our information there, emails, phone numbers, and so forth are there. And we're still building the website. So as you come there on a regular basis, things are changing and adapting as we start smiling even brighter with our website, to be able to bring opportunities and curriculum to help save lives for both dental and mental health through the nonprofit world. And Ken, closing words?
Closing words would be: live a life you love and inspire others so that you actually know that you made a difference. And keep smiling, of course.
Keep smiling, and that's how you'll have the best you. Thank you so much. We'll talk with you soon, and can't wait to publish your Keep Smiling book so you can have shift happen.